All right. I hit the live button and the eyeball is up on my end. That means that we're just going to chat until we start seeing people come on. So the people that watch later get the benefit of seeing the chit chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we always try to talk about something during the chit chat so that people who are watching later on at least have something interesting to watch.
Aren't completely bored out of their minds.
Right.
Maybe they are. I don't know.
Maybe.
They wouldn't keep tuning in if they...
Listen, I keep getting updates from Restream, which is our streaming software, and I keep getting updates from YouTube, from our YouTube channel, and our membership is growing. Our hours watched or minutes watched month to month is not dropping. We have good viewership.
Great.
So I would say that
somebody's paying attention.
They're paying attention to what we have to say. So on some level, we must be talking about things that people want to hear, or they wouldn't tune in, because this is all voluntary. We're not forcing anybody to do anything.
We're not paying anybody.
Not paying anybody. Susie Marcucci Kennedy's is.
Why can I not share this to my feed, Matt?
Why?
I don't know. I'm struggling, as you always say. I'm struggling with my own show.
I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it to my feed too. And if, again, like we always talk about, if you want to help us spread the word, please hit that share button and share Porchcast Pottstown to your news feed. If you're part of a group, you can share the news feed to your group.
Oh, there we go. Okay, now I'm gonna
I hit the more. I hit share, and then more options, and then when more options comes up, I have a copy link. So I hit copy. That puts the link to the show on my clipboard.
Okay, I got it. I found it.
Then I go
I mean, it's only been 3 years, Matt. How do you think I would know what I'm doing?
Then I go over to Rufus Jefferson, because Matt Green is Rufus Jefferson. Rufus Jefferson is Matt Green. For those that don't know. And then I hit post.
Do you think there's anybody that doesn't know?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, there's some people that don't know. I'm regularly approached by people that say, I didn't know that you were Rufus Jefferson.
Who's that Rufus Jefferson guy? He's really something else.
Rufus Jefferson has some opinions. He lets them be known.
I don't think that Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate holds back on his opinions either.
Sometimes I try to be a little bit more politically
restrained
correct.
A little bit.
Yeah, I got corrected today on some stuff that I was talking about. And I didn't even think that the word that I used was that inflammatory. I used the word reclaimed, but I guess
in what context?
In the context of like reclaiming ground that had been left feral, reclaiming it for purposeful use. Yeah, I know. So I'm not. People that live in this politically.
That doesn't sound.
I'm going to take the overlay off.
That doesn't at all sound like, even in the wrong context, like it could be.
Right.
Offensive. Hi, Susie, and hi, Mindy. Thank you for tuning in.
But there's people that live in that kind of world.
Yeah,
and they're sensitive to it. You know what I mean?
So apropos of that, did you see the article I posted about Roald Dahl's books he wrote, Willy Wonka, and so the Roald Dahl, what's that his name? Roald Dahl.
I think it's Roald.
Roald. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, the foundation that owns the books, or that owns the rights, is re-releasing them, but they're changing some of the offensive, quote unquote, offensive terminology. Like in Willy Wonka, Dahl describes Augustus Gloop as fat.
Okay.
Which that was the character, right?
Yeah,
but in the new release, they're changing it to like extremely large.
Okay.
So
why are we correcting the language in fiction books though? You know what I mean?
Good question.
Like if it was a history book that was supposed to be reporting on history, right?
Right.
Like maybe you'd want to try to stay away from those types of inflammatory words.
Right.
But it's a fiction book
that the author wrote it Right.
for a reason.
Yes. So
And
there enormous. Thank you, Mindy, changing the word from fat to enormous.
Mindy would know. She's in the library.
She is a librarian. Yes. Most of the people that commented on my post were in the same, we're all in agreement. Like, how about instead of whitewashing it, instead of making it, quote, non-offensive to anyone, how about if you just put a forward in the book, like, hey, this was written in whatever year, and now there's some things in there that, you know, people might find offensive, kind of like now at the beginning, before you watch Gone with the Wind, like on Turner Classic Movies, my favorite channel. They'll give a preface of like, this book was written in the 30s about the 1860s.
Yes.
And the movie was released in 1939. So you have to understand the context in which the book was written, the movie was made, and the period about which it was written. You have to understand all of those things to not be offended by the things that happen in the book. You have to look at it through those eyes, right?
I think people should stop worrying about wanting to be there's a certain portion of our society that wants to be offended. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, this is part of the game that they play.
Right.
They're looking for ways to be offended so that they can then go complain about it.
Right.
Right. Like,
right.
I don't really have a whole lot of time for that person.
No. And also, if you don't like something, then don't read it or don't watch it or don't. I've talked about this before, that when I worked at Vermont Teddy Bear, one of my jobs in the marketing department was to respond to the letters that people wrote to our company, because we advertised on a lot of, quote, controversial shows. We advertised on Howard Stern, and we advertised on Don Imus, and other politically charged shows, and shows that people might have found the DJ or the host to be offensive. Well, change the channel, or don't buy our product.
Right.
That's fine too. You can do any number of those things.
I wonder what the long-term impact of all of this stuff is. Like, what's the long-term impact of this on society and culture if we're constantly having to go back and rewrite or change things to keep up with whatever the latest controversial word or ability for somebody to be offended is?
Yeah, it's exhausting, right?
It is. And I almost feel like, too, again, if we're talking about fiction, it could have been the author's purpose to cause you some discomfort while reading the story. Like, that's part of literature. That's part of...
Yes.
Right. It's part of literature
to make you think, or make you bristle, or make me like, whoo, I'm glad that we don't live in that time anymore.
Right.
I'm glad that doesn't happen anymore.
Yes.
Right.
To provoke a response.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want a book that didn't provoke some kind of response in you, right? That would be boring. You wouldn't want to read that book.
Boring. Right. And where does it stop?
Yeah. We can't ever reach purity.
Right.
There's no those. That's what they are. They're purity tests.
And also, what's offensive to you might not be offensive to me, vice versa.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess this is all the same kind of thing that when we were talking about earlier on the first episode that I did for Black History Month. You know, we have these state governments, and in some places, local and county governments that are starting to ban words and ban books, or ban the use of concepts in words and books.
Banning books is like, who banned books? The Nazis.
Fascists.
The Nazis.
The communists did it.
Right.
All of these, like, really radicalized political ideologies, right? Like, that's not who that's not who we're trying to be.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be Nazis or Stalinists, right?
Right. And so a lot of the book banning in school districts now is happening in, I would say, right-leaning areas. Fair?
It seems to be, yes, it does seem to be indicative of right-wing politics.
So, but ironically, those are the same kinds of people that fly the Gadsden flag. Don't tread on me. Give me my guns. I need my freedom to not wear a mask. Don't tell me what to do. But I'm totally for banning this book. I don't understand it.
No, they're also the same people that complain about cancel culture.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
how's
They
that
don't understand
jive?
irony.
No.
Maybe that word was taken out of all their books. If they read.
Oh, wow.
If they read.
I'm going to say that they do.
Say no to censorship. All right. Mindy, do you have at the library a whole section of banned books? Because I think I want to read some of those banned books.
There were some libraries.
Like a a whole display of books, of popularly banned books. Like I know To Kill a Mockingbird is one that's often.
One.
What? It's like literally
Tom Sawyer.
One of the greatest books of all time, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yep, I agree.
Hands down, right?
I agree. It's good fiction.
Yeah.
It deals with a lot of social issues. Really tough social issues.
Moving stories. Okay, great. We have a list.
So if you want to go check out some banned books, if you want to read what's banned,
they must be good.
Yeah.
If they're getting banned, right?
It's the good stuff.
The good stuff. Yeah.
Go down to another reason to support the Pottstown Public Library.
Faux show.
Go see some banned books.
Yeah.
Just for the titillation of reading something you shouldn't be reading.
Oh, I think that's a dirty word.
It's like when
there's a banned book week in September. Excellent. Okay, goals.
It's like when you're like 10 or 11 and you find your dad's Playboy and you sneak off to take a look at the boobies.
Wasn't Tropic of Cancer one of those books? My dad recently tried to read it. He was like, nope, not for me. I told him to send it to me, but it was too late. He put it right.
What were the themes in?
Put it right in the little free library.
There was a lot of there were some homosexual references in Tropic of Cancer.
Was it? I don't know anything about it.
It was written by isn't that Tennessee Williams? Somebody put up who wrote.
No, it is Henry Miller.
Oh, okay.
Also referred to as a Northern Tropic. It is. Oh wait, hold on. That's not it. I need the book. Tropic of Cancer book.
Hey, I just want to thank people for tuning in. Yeah. We actually have a decent crowd, even though I did zero advertising for this week's show. I've been busy.
It's notorious for its candid sexuality.
That's what I knew. It was sex stuff.
Mm-hmm. And as responsible for the, quote, free speech that we now take for granted in literature.
Yeah. Free speech.
First published in 1934, that edition was banned in the United States. Its publication in 1961 in the United States led to obscenity trials that tested American laws on pornography in the early 1960s. In 1964, the U.S. Supreme Court declared the book non-obscene. It is regarded as an important work of 20th century literature. I'm putting it on my list. I will read it and I will report back with a book report.
I remember talking about that book in college in my political science classes, but we weren't required to read it. We were talking about it because of the controversy that it stirred up and that the testing that went on with the Supreme Court.
Was that in high school?
No, this is in college.
I was like, you didn't go to a Catholic high school? They weren't promoting Tropic of Cancer at St. Pius High School.
I didn't pay attention to anything at St. Pius 10th High School other than sports.
Right.
And maybe some of my history classes. Matt Green was not a good student until he got to college.
Right. All right. Well, here, you live to tell about it. Sounds like my kind of book. Me too, Susie. All right. Maybe we'll have a little book club when I'm ready to read it.
Cherry Crumb.
I'm slogging through Crime and Punishment. Oh, my God. It's really difficult.
It's brutal.
It's so much dialogue. I can't take it.
Isn't it thicker than the Bible?
No,
or is that
it's
War and Peace?
It's only 500 pages.
Oh, that's not bad.
War and Peace was like 1,200. No, I was like, 500 pages, piece of cake.
It's dense.
It's brutal. It's brutal. The names, everybody in Russian literature has 3 different names.
Yeah, Dostoevsky.
Yeah, you're like, you're everybody's Petrovich or Ivanovich. And then like sometimes they're called by their last names, and then they got nicknames.
And then they have nicknames.
Natasha is also Natalia, is also Natalie. What? So yeah, it's tough. But I like to read hard stuff and then brag about it and never shut up about it. So I'll finish it.
So this is
it's just bragging rights.
Ego trip. Amy is ego trip.
I just like to brag about the books that I read. Hey Vance, tuning in. Thank you. Vance is a big reader.
Todd Bainbridge, greetings, Porchcast.
Hello. Well, you were telling me something interesting about you and Todd as far as Black History Month.
Yeah, so let me tell this story, and it'll be the Porchcast Pottstown Black History Month story for this episode because I didn't prepare anything else. I've just been so busy at work. So I will tell this story, which will be which will fulfill our mission of having to talk about Black History Month for every episode in Black History Month.
Right.
and then I will segue into why I didn't prepare for History Month or History Day.
You do also have a paying job.
I do.
Right.
Todd Bainbridge is the curator of Pottstown Area History Collective, which is a Facebook group.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody that's watching right now, at least the names that I've seen, are follow that page. It really is exceptional.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that Todd was doing was helping me do the research so that I would have enough historical background to tell these stories for the Black History Month episodes of Porchcast Pottstown. Through some of his studies and his research, we uncovered the story of this church called Mount Frisbee AME Church, which was also called the Sixpenny Colored Church, which is on Geigertown Road out near, it has a Birdsboro address. So it's just north or just south of Birdsboro, mostly surrounded by French Creek State Park.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd sent me some really good information on this place. It was a place that he had researched in the past. And I was able to link some of the stories at Sixpenny Colored Church to some of the Underground Railroad history that I wanted to talk about in relationship to Pottstown. So our assistant at Glocker, Pat Salnack, knows the Cole family, who owns the land where the Sixpenny Colored Church stands.
Yeah, we talked about that and the property being in the Cole family for like 250 years.
A very long time. Right. Long time. Right. I don't know if it's necessarily 250 years, but a long time. And they
at least since probably the 1860s, yeah.
1850s.
1850s,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. One of their relatives is buried there, and he served in the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And so, the story that I told was related to that. Went to 1851.
Yeah. So 150 years.
Easily.
Right.
In the same family. So anyway, Pat reached out to me and said, look, I know the Cole family. I live right down the street from them. They're great people. Let me talk to them and see if they're willing to talk to you and Todd Bainbridge about the history there, because Todd had some questions. I have some questions, and it would be interesting to learn it from none other than the family that's been involved for 150 years. So sure enough, Pat reaches out to these folks, and they eventually get back to us. And so long story short, Todd Bainbridge and I are invited to a history presentation that they're going to be doing at their home.
Nice.
With some students from Muhlenberg College and with a documentarian. There's a woman that is actually writing a documentary or shooting a documentary that covers part of the history there at Mount Frisbee.
That's so cool.
So this Sunday, Todd Bainbridge and I are invited to the talk, and we're going to go and meet the family and hear what they have to say about the history there and everything.
That is very, very cool.
So that's what I'm talking about today. And then as soon as Todd and I go, we'll be taking copious notes, and we'll report back, and it'll be a little bit of follow-up to our Black History Month and local history explorations.
That's really cool.
But I want to give a big shout out to Pat Salnack. She's been a long time watcher of Porchcast Pottstown, and she works with us up there at Glocker Realty and Insurance.
Yep.
So thanks, Pat, for making those connections.
Making that connection.
Porchcast Pottstown can get some stuff done.
Connecting people, getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go up to Sixpenny again. I'll try to find it this weekend. And to take a walk around up there. There was a gentleman that posted about the trail up there at Sixpenny Trail and the old water park and pool, and posted some pictures. And I was like, great. I would tried to find it. I couldn't find a good place to park and get on the trail. And then some troll chimed in on the post.
A troll trolled you?
A troll trolled me and said, because I asked for clarification on where to park, like for the trailhead. And this troll said, well, you are a woman after all. I'm sorry, what? So I know that I shouldn't have.
Comedy is about timing. And
that was not at all funny. So I know that I shouldn't have, because the good old days of Pottstown has a lot of older folks on that page, but I just dropped an F-bomb. I couldn't help myself. I replied, what the actual F is that supposed to mean? Because I just was like, I cannot believe that a complete stranger just said that I couldn't find the trail because I'm a woman. What? So then he replied back and said that I couldn't find my ass with both hands.
Which again, if your timing's a little bit better, could have been a funny joke.
No, it maybe would have been a funny joke if it was you and I talking.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Timing is everything.
And also, like, you wouldn't say that to a complete stranger. You would only say that joking to me.
No,
Or,
and
right?
I also wouldn't be making that joke on the good old days of Pottstown page. Like,
Right.
What are you proving?
And it was clearly not a joke because the guy is a misogynistic a-hole, right? So I was like, I asked for clarification on where a trailhead was, for which I was, grateful. You chose to insult a complete stranger based on her gender instead of just scrolling by and minding your own business. Then you doubled down and you insulted me again. I said, you are a sad and miserable man. And then the moderators kicked him off the page. So sorry, William Handforth.
Just put him on blast.
Yep. So thank you, Chris Drucker.
I don't know that guy.
Yeah, I don't know him either. I don't want to know him. Not you, Chris, the troll guy. So anyway, the Von Tours are down at Southside watching. Thanks for tuning in. And so that was my excitement of like getting somebody kicked off of a group. But I just can't imagine, like, it's interesting to me psychologically, what is the mindset of a complete stranger just saying something completely rude and sexist to...
Could you imagine... Hold on. Let me throw another wrench into this. Let me throw another nuance. Another nugget.
Looks like Troy did a good time. Yeah.
Imagine if you would have said, I'm going down to Sixpenny Creek because I'm looking for some Black history.
His head would have exploded.
Doubled down.
Yeah.
He could have got the misogyny and the racism.
It would have been a twofer. Right. So anyway, I could find my ass with both hands. Thank you. And I'm going to, thanks to the gentleman that made the post and gave me the directions. And then Matt and I just looked at the map. So my struggle was I was trying to find some place to park. That was really what I was struggling, was to find a place to park that was safe, that I didn't have to walk a mile and a half before I even got to the trail. Because girlfriend ain't about to be adding anything to a 4-mile hike. I'm not adding an extra mile.
Right. You work your way up to it.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll see what this weekend looks like. You got some stuff going on this weekend?
I do. And I there are some people that are tuning in that I know are signed up to help me this weekend. And I just want to make some public service announcements because there's a lot of rumors that are starting to float around about what we're actually doing. For people that don't know, I am a board member at the Pottstown Cluster of Religious Communities. Coming out of the pandemic, 2 of our staff members participated in some surveying that was done at the community meal sites. So there's different churches and the Salvation Army around Pottstown that host these community meals and have for years. This isn't new.
No.
This has been going on
for years.
I
know, because there's one right over here twice a week.
Right. I've actually gone to the one here at Emmanuel Lutheran, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
These folks from the Pottstown Cluster of Religious Communities did some surveying amongst the community meal locations. They talked to the guests. So these are members of the community that are going to the community meal for one reason or another. Right. And their reasons are their own damn business.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And then the other thing that they were doing was talking to the volunteers and the church members at these things to find out, what can we do to help you? What resources do you guys need that would make these community meals a little bit more worthwhile?
What a concept, Matt. Instead of just going out and doing whatever they wanted to do, they had some conversations and found out what was needed.
Yes.
Wow.
Very responsible behavior, right?
Yeah.
Very responsible behavior.
Coordination and communication.
Right. Who knew?
Think about it. The more you know.
So off of the back of those conversations, 2 things became apparent to us at Pottstown Cluster Religious Communities. One, was the guests and the church partners wanted to know more about the resources that were available to people. And by people, I mean all of us in Pottstown and Montgomery County. We want more information about the resources that are available to us.
A lot of people don't know what they don't know.
Correct. Right. And we learned that during the pandemic right here on Porchcast Pottstown.
That was kind of like what we did when we started was just give out information.
Every day, all day.
Yeah. Remember the notebook?
Yes. I still have the notebook.
Pages and pages
filled up
in
an
that
entire notebook.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, that we noticed was coming back from some of the feedback was from our neighbors in the community meal sites, that they had noticed that there was an increase of trash and an increase of some loitering issues related to the meals.
Right.
So we put our collective thinking hats on and we created a resource team and we created what we're calling a trash team.
Right.
The resource team is going to go to the meals and just talk to people,
find out what they're looking for, find out what they need, help to hopefully make some connections. I don't know. Let me get you the information. I'll see you next week, and I'll give you some info on who to contact. That kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. So that's the resource team. The other team is the trash team, which is literally supposed to be at the meals to police up trash outside of the community meal sites.
Right. So that the neighbors, like I would consider myself a neighbor of one of those community meals.
I am too.
To make sure that the surrounding area stays clean. And I think that was especially important during the pandemic when those meals were to go.
They were to go.
So there was a lot of bags and styrofoams and takeaway forks and things like that. Which
was a temporary solution. It was never supposed to be a permanent solution. Right. It was temporary because of the pandemic. But anyway, nonetheless, this is what was requested of us. So this is what we're doing. Well, out of that trash team,
kind of morphed, didn't it?
It did. Out of the trash team concept, the people that signed up for the trash team, we had a meeting, and everybody that sat down at that meeting said, we want to help the churches and we want to help the neighborhoods, but what can we do to clean up the mess that's related to the homeless encampments? Right. Now, I want to be very crystal clear. These are people that volunteer with homeless service nonprofits. These aren't people that are against the homeless.
Right.
They're literally looking for a way to help the homeless people clean up after themselves. Right.
Which, when we talked about Tom and the other gentleman whose never name I could never remember, Mark. Right. Talked about when you are experiencing homelessness and you don't have a place to dispose of your stuff, of your waste,
of your shit. Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, but also of you get these meals, but you don't have any place to dispose of them.
Correct.
Right? Correct. So it's something that you don't really think about.
We don't think of it. It's the unintended consequences of our charity.
Yes.
So the trash team members said, look, we want to clean up in the neighborhoods, but we also want to do something to help clean up after our citizens in town who live outdoors for one reason or another.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
We are not taking away people's stuff who are currently living in the woods.
No.
We are not removing active.
You're not breaking up
campsites.
encampments.
We are not breaking up any encampments.
You're not camp busters.
We're not.
Right.
We are removing the trash and debris that's been left behind by abandoned camp.
Right. And then also in the surrounding area, like if you go down College Drive, there's a ton of trash down there just on the side of the road.
Side of the road.
Right.
Some of which is blowing off of Route 100.
Yeah.
It's not coming from the homeless people.
Right.
I literally watched it blow off the back of a truck and come down onto College Drive from Route 100.
Right. Is that a violation? You shouldn't have stuff
Absolutely
You shouldn't have stuff flying off of here.
It's multiple violations.
Yeah.
Anyway. So the first rumor that I want to try to dispel on today's show is we are not removing active campsites.
No.
Not what we're doing.
No.
We don't have the authority to do it.
Yeah, you're not rehoming people or just blatantly kicking them out.
And we don't have the authority to evict anybody.
Right.
And we don't, more importantly, we don't have the desire to do that.
Not the purpose here.
We're trying to help people clean up.
Yep.
Now, The other thing that we know, if you've watched the show or if you've been part of this conversation, is we started this initiative underneath the umbrella of the Pottstown Cluster Religious Communities because they serve the community meal. And we know that we serve the homeless population because we also have housing services that we provide, right?
Right.
So this is within our wheelhouse, right? So we're trying to do what our mission is.
Right.
We are a nonprofit organization.
Mm-hmm.
We are not sponsored by the government of Pottstown. We're not sponsored by the county. We're not sponsored by the state or the federal government. We are a non-governmental organization.
Right. Now, you might receive grants.
Correct.
Right. You might receive county or federal grants, but
we are not a branch of any government agency or organization.
Right.
We're not a branch of the government. We are a non-governmental organization. Right. That means, folks, I'm not working with the police. We are not working at the direction of the police. In fact, we haven't even asked the police for assistance.
Why would you ask the police for assistance?
Exactly. Because all we're doing is cleaning up. Why would we need the police for
ring, that? Ring. Hello, PPD. May I pick up some trash, please? Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So we're not working with the police.
Right.
We are not removing active camps. That's not what we're doing.
No.
Now, the reason we know these camps are abandoned is because there's members of the trash team that are out in the community every day talking to the people who are homeless. One of our members of the trash team literally went to the people that were living in those camps and said to them, "Are you still using that stuff?" And the answer was no.
Okay.
So then we went and talked to some of the people that are providing services to the homeless and said, "Are these campsites being used?" The answer was no.
Right. And also, I believe the site that you're going to be focusing on Saturday is on private property.
It's on private property.
Right.
It's not public property.
So I'm not suggesting that even if somebody was living there that you would kick them out, but I'm saying
we don't have the authority to do that.
Right. But it's private property. And assuming that you have the permission to go onto that property to clean it up, that's all you're doing. Okay.
That's all we're doing. Now,
thanks, Mindy. Mindy says, "I'm sad that you even need to explain how and why you are helping." Well, there's just a lot of rumors that float around. I heard that. Somebody told me that.
Yes.
That kind of stuff.
So now you can hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So here's what did happen.
Or the other end of the horse.
The horse's
depending
ass.
on how you look at it.
Depending on where you're standing.
See, that was a well-timed joke between two friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that self-deprecation is part of humor too. Anyway, what was the other thing? Oh, here's two things that did happen as a result of government or private landowner action. And I want to explain what happened in both of these scenarios because they are getting confused with what we're doing with the trash team down along the river. There's some property out in West Pottsgrove Township. It's where the former Stanley Flag factory was.
Okay.
Also, Goody Broad was part of that situation.
Is that like up by Grosstown Road? Like up on that end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just east of Grosstown Road,
Okay.
There's some old abandoned areas that's industrial area. This was it's called the Flag property.
Right.
There's encampments on the Flag property. There was a photographer that went to the Flag property in order to take marketing pictures in order to attract
to try to sell that property
businesses.
or to market that property as an industrial site.
Correct.
Right.
The photographer found the homeless encampments.
Right. Like, oh, I'm here to take some photos and look. Yeah.
All right.
Look what I found.
So you can imagine that the photographer is hired by the landowner to market this property. So it would make sense that he's going to go back to the landowner and say,
"Hey, FYI, have you visited the site recently? Because you got a situation.
There's people camping there."
Right.
The Flag property submitted owner sent an eviction letter to the people that are living on the Flag property. That has nothing to do with the cleanup that is occurring with the trash
team. I can't believe that people would even think that was like, why? How are people even confused about that?
This is an independent action of a private property owner
taking care of their property.
to take some control over their own property. They are 100% within their rights to do what they're doing.
Of course.
You
You might disagree with it, but it's their property.
It's their right.
Right.
The other thing, too, about the Stanley Flag property is it's in West Pottsgrove Township. The trash team is only going to operate within the borough of Pottstown.
Right.
If West Pottsgrove,
the West Grovers can do their own thing.
They can create.
They can put their own trash team together.
Absolutely.
We're all full up over here. We got plenty of work to do. We got plenty to do.
So that's West Pottsgrove.
We got plenty to do, Matt.
The Pottstown Cluster of Religious Communities trash team is not operating in West Pottsgrove Township, and we are also not working with the West Pottsgrove Township Police Department. Not doing it.
Okay.
Now, in Memorial Park, up by the ball fields, just south of Route 100 by Novak, Grimm, and Sunstrom
Is that
Field.
Still part of Memorial Park?
Yes, it is.
Is that considered Memorial Park?
Yep.
Okay.
And you know how I know that?
How do you know that, Matt?
Because there was some surveying that was just done up there to determine which portions of that land belong to the borough of Pottstown.
Okay. Well, I mean, surveys happen from time to time.
Surveys happen.
Mark property, right?
Guess what they found while they were doing the survey?
Some encampments.
Some homeless encampments. Right. So the borough of Pottstown is now aware that they have homeless encampments in Memorial Park. So guess what they did? They went in there and they removed them.
Said, you got to go.
Got to go. Now, they chose the coldest day of the year to do that. The borough of Pottstown did. I'm not saying that was a good choice.
Right.
It was not, just like comedy we're talking about.
The timing was not good.
The timing was poor.
Right.
However,
unless they found some place for them to go on the coldest night of the year.
They didn't. It was a mess. And like I'm saying, however, that was independent action of what Pottstown Cluster Religious Communities trash team is doing.
Right. Not related.
Not related at all.
Right.
What that action was related to was the borough of Pottstown trying to figure out what land they own and who's going to be responsible for taking care of it. Because Pottstown Little League has merged with Pottsgrove Little League, and they want to start having games back down there.
So did Pottstown Little League previously rented that space from the borough of Pottstown? Like they leased that space to use for their games?
There was a maintenance agreement, basically.
Okay.
And because...
Like you can use these fields if you take care of them.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And because Pottstown Little League folded, Pottsgrove Little League now has to figure out what their agreement down there is going to be.
Do they want to still play down there? And what's the contract going to be?
So they've decided that they are going to play back there. They want to bring those fields back.
Right.
Because they've been pretty much abandoned for the past 3 years, partially due to the pandemic.
Oh, and then there was a huge flood in 2019 or whatever year that was. Yeah.
There was the flood. And then also Pottstown Little League folded up. They weren't getting enough volunteers to run the league.
Right. So they merged with Pottsgrove.
Correct.
Right.
So all of that is settled business now. Pottsgrove, Pottstown Little League is now saying, we're going back.
Right.
And we're going to return that land to the use for baseball and recreation.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the people that were camping down there were discovered. Let's not forget the fact that all of this has been on social media every day for hours since the citations got written to the churches in August.
Right.
So all of this stuff
is topic.
It's a hot topic in the public eye. And not for nothing, we have all of this revitalization work that's happening along Keystone Boulevard. And we're trying to revitalize Memorial Park so that the citizens of the community, so that everyone
can enjoy it. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
If anybody has any other questions, please contact me at pottstownreports@gmail.com. I'll tell you exactly what's going on. I'm not working with the police. The last thing I want to be is in the cop's pocket. Right. And if people know me, they know that I was a cop for 15 years. They know that I was a cop in Pottstown for 8 years. My police career did not end well for a variety of reasons.
Right.
I am not the boy.
You're not the lackey.
I ain't the lackey for the cops.
Right.
Because even when I was a cop, the cops didn't help me all that much.
Right.
So,
all right.
That's
So
the story.
if for anybody that would like to join on Saturday, Susie says she needs a couple of the grabbers. Well, Susie, you know how to get them, right? Contact the folks at Hope Arts Run, and you can pick up some grabbers. They're really nice. They're nice and long, so you don't have to bend over.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to help on Saturday, where, when, what's the deets?
So this is the other thing I want to clear up. We are not working in Tent City.
Tent City being, if you go down College Drive, immediately after South Hall of Montgomery County Community College, right next to it, there's the parking lot, and then there's the creek, and then there's what we call Tent City. So that's, I think, what is universally known as Tent City.
That
you're not going in there because it's actively being used.
One, it's actively being used. Two, it's Norfolk Southern's property.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, Norfolk Southern and the borough of Pottstown have created that problem down there at Tent City, and they need to figure it out.
Right.
We're not doing anything in Tent City.
Nope.
So if you look right across the street from Tent City, you'll see the parking lot.
Yeah, for the trailhead down there.
Yep. It's the Schuylkill River Trail parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
The address of that parking lot is 79 College Drive.
Okay.
That's where you can park.
Yeah. Just go down College Drive. The college is on your right. Immediately after the college on the left, before you get to the underpass, right there.
Right.
See,
there.
I can find my ass with my own two hands.
This is your neighborhood. It's 3 blocks.
If I can't find that,
I'm
really pathetic.
Right.
Yeah. I've only been there 100,000 times.
So you're going to want to park at the 79 College Drive address, trailhead, and you're going to want to walk about 150 yards down
west.
Schuylkill River Trail towards the west. So like you're walking towards Stowe.
Yes.
Or West Pottsgrove Township, right?
Yep. Underneath, you go underneath Route 100.
The overpass.
Underneath 100.
There's no 100. 100. Yeah. There's no way you will miss us after you come underneath the Route 100 overpass. Right. You'll see us.
And like Matt will be there, so you'll probably be able to hear them.
You'll be hearing me talking.
Another very good joke between friends.
Right. We're going to have a sign-in table.
Okay.
There's going to be a dumpster down there.
Yep. Nice.
Dennis Colt from Colt Rentals has donated the use of a Kubota.
Nice.
We're using a Kubota.
Wow.
We're going to have 2 ATVs and as many as possibly 40 different volunteers helping us pick up trash and looking out for the safety of pedestrians and people on the road. So this is I've planned this operation in cooperation with people who know how to get things done.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Contractors, machine operators.
Right.
There's a woman who's helping me whose expertise is in disaster response.
I'm laughing at Todd Bainbridge's written Route 100.
Route 100. Route 100. Isn't that how you say it?
Bill Brogley, what citations? Like, what do you mean, what citations?
Bill Brogley would be the one that is asking that question.
Stop it.
If you don't know what the citations I'm talking about, hit me up. We'll have a conversation and I'll explain it to you. Route 100. So yeah, you can't. The other part of it too is I just want to be crystal clear that the people that help plan this thing are all people with expertise and experience. So we have experienced machine operators, experienced cleanup people. Like one of the guys that's helping us is an experienced fire and water cleanup guy.
Like a restoration. Yeah.
That's what he does.
Great.
And one of the women that's helping us plan this whole operation comes from a background of disaster response. So it's being planned like a real legit operation.
Right.
And that's what you're going to be getting involved in if you come down. If you're hoping to kick some homeless people out of their camps,
you're going to the wrong place.
Waste your time.
Yeah. Yep. Not going to happen. Just here to pick up some trash.
Yeah, Joe Rusevich is asking about porta potties. We don't have porta potties.
He's making me laugh so hard over there.
Joe, we'll put you on the porta potty.
He asked if the art of the deal was on the banned book list. Maybe
should be. Maybe.
Oh goodness.
We don't have porta potties down there, so if you do plan to come down, realize that there are no services.
Go before you go.
We are going to have somebody that will shuttle you to the bathroom in case of an emergency.
Yeah,
but
there are porta potties at the other trailhead at the other end of Riverfront, down by the that other part of the college.
Yeah.
But where the Challenger Center is.
Yeah. And we're going to have, we're going to
just
have
don't drink a big giant cup of coffee. Go before you go, as we always used to say to Harrison when he was little. Right.
Meet us down there at 8:00, and we're going to work until about noon.
8:00.
8 a.m.
All right, people, go to bed early on Friday.
Come on
anybody
down.
showing up with any hangovers.
I had to get that out there because my phone's been ringing off the hook and people are so concerned. And I just want to alleviate the fears. We're not trying to blame this on. Listen,
it's no blame, no nothing, just going out there and cleaning up a site.
Doing what you got to do.
Yeah. Right. Being contributors to society.
Correct.
Yes.
Lots of Porchtonians helping out with us. Susie Marcucci Kennedy, Jamie Sanchez,
Nice.
the Botnors, Gypsy Chris.
Excellent.
Jeanette
Nice.
Himes says she's going to come down there. Nicole Matz.
Great.
So Porchtonians, once again,
stepping up
to the plate.
Stepping up. Wear your Porchcast shirt, folks.
Yeah, if you have
get your Hobart's Run grabber. Get like everything, and wear a Go Forth hat. Like go just have all your gear.
Kathy Skitko's coming down to help us out.
She's a good egg.
She is.
She's a good boots on the ground.
They opened up the storage shed for us. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to pick up tools and traffic safety vests and gloves.
Yep.
And then also another one of our partners in this is Pottstown Community Action.
Nice.
Tomorrow night, I'm going to meet Tamara Charles at their storage shed.
They have a lot of stuff, supplies also.
They're hooking us up.
Yep.
So this is a community sponsored event, and it's for the benefit of the entire community.
Yeah, and this is what Pottstown does, man. We can rally, come together and rally, right? Matt, for a show where we didn't have anything planned, we can certainly talk, can't we?
We can. I say we get into news and events.
We do have news and events. My dad sent me this article about Poland. The war in Ukraine is coming up on a year, if you can believe it, a year tomorrow. Not to get too political, but boy.
No, we can.
Putin thought he was going to roll in and be done in a week. Or was he wrong about that?
No, in some ways, they've really gotten their asses handed to them.
Yeah. There's some superpower, right?
No, they've lost some generals. They've lost some of their leading generals.
Yeah.
If you remember correctly, one of the flagships of their Navy got blown up in the Black Sea.
Mm-hmm.
The Ukrainians used a missile and blew that sucker up.
They blew up a bridge.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they're taking a toll. I mean, Ukraine, little tiny Ukraine.
Yep.
Putting up a fight.
Yep.
And could you imagine if some invading army came rolling into Pottstown? I'll tell you who we'd stop complaining about, the homeless, real quick.
Exactly. Yeah. That would put a different perspective on things, wouldn't it?
We'd be down in Tent City throwing some Molotovs.
Right. Yeah. Everybody be helping out.
Everybody be helping.
Yep. Be like Wolverines. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. AmCore Technical School Scholarship Program. This is to assist students who are pursuing a certificate or associate's degree in industrial skilled trade. So this is sponsored by AmCore. Applicants must be high school seniors or graduates or current post-secondary undergraduates. And the awards, there's 200 awards at $2,500 each. And students can apply for every year that they meet eligibility. And you can go to just Google AmCore Tech scholarship program. Deadline is March 6th. So if you have a high school senior or a graduate who is currently in a post-secondary undergraduate program in industrial skilled trades, $2,500. There you go.
I found it just by Googling AmCore Tech.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm going to put a link up in the box.
Yeah. So here's another scholarship competition. One scholarship is awarded for $1,000. This is the Pennsylvania School Counselors Association. This is open to high school seniors planning to pursue a post-secondary education. An essay of 500 words is needed. And you need to write about a school counselor who has made a difference in your academic career and or social emotional development. So you can Google Pennsylvania School Counselors Association 2023 scholarship competition. Go, Matt, see if you can find it. All right. Hazardous waste. Don't take it out into the woods and dump it. You can take it to, and this is free, go to montcoparecycles.org, get a list of the upcoming dates for hazardous waste collection. I did this a couple of years ago. Super easy. The next one is April 29th at Boyertown Middle School East on Big Road in Gilbertsville.
Now, they are saying that you should make a reservation.
A reservation. Yep. That way they don't have 100 cars showing up all at 11 a.m. So there's turpentine and paint thinners and strippers and removers, oil-based paints, that kind of stuff. Swimming pool chemicals, weed killers, septic tank degreasers,
the heavy-duty shit.
Yeah. Yep. Drain openers, rug cleaners, all that sort of really caustic stuff. Like the kind of stuff that spilled into the river in East Palestine, Ohio. That kind of stuff. Don't do that. Take it to the hazardous waste. So, yeah, Norfolk Southern having a little bit of bad optics right now, huh?
Yeah, you think.
Yep.
Now, listen, I want to say this. Tent City is on Norfolk Southern land.
Yep.
So it might be coming a little bit more clear why it's been so difficult to get the cooperation out of Norfolk Southern to help.
I'm going to say because I don't think that Norfolk Southern gives a shit about anything other than Norfolk Southern's bottom line.
That's right. The making the shareholders happy.
Yeah.
That's it.
They don't care. That is really a horrible, horrible disaster. Anyway, on to something lighter. Designer bag bingo. That's this Sunday. This benefits the Rotary Club youth services, youth programs, Rotary youth programs. This is Sunday at 11 at Brookside Country Club. I don't understand it, but people love this designer bag bingo stuff. It's $50 and there's 20 games of bingo and lunch. If you Google or go to the Pottstown Rotary Club Facebook page, check that out. Veterans Island Project has a fundraiser at Soul Joel's on Thursday, March 9th. Our friends at Veterans Island doing a great job down there and making that part of the park really, really beautiful and very moving and meaningful. So support them. Soul Joel's has a lot of great stuff going on. I'll get back to that. Our friend Mike Murphy, rising like a phoenix out of the thin air.
He's back from his long range reconnaissance patrol.
Yes, he certainly was like out there, like off the AWOL. Is that what we say?
Yeah, maybe a little AWOL.
So as a reminder, on the fourth Saturday of every month is the stand down at Memorial Park at Veterans Island. It is for vets, by vets, clothing, a hot meal, and they'll hook you up with veteran services. So here's
the one thing, and the trash team that we just talked about is going to be working with Mike Murphy and Veterans Coalition to do a cleanup down there. We're trying to set up a date in April. So that's another one of the projects that we're going to be working on. One of the things that Mike Murphy keeps telling me is that the veterans, he's having a hard time getting people involved with the Veterans Coalition and with Veterans Island Project. The younger veterans are not filling in the spots left behind by the older veterans as the older veterans pass away or just get too old to work.
Right.
So I got to throw a challenge out to our Generation Xers and Gen Zs and Gen Y. If you're a younger veteran and you're looking for some way
to give back, help.
And think about this, you're giving back to your brothers in arms.
Yep. And sisters. Yep. Well, I think that any service organization or that kind of like they're suffering from attrition of the younger generation. The loss doesn't have time, doesn't have the interest, doesn't understand the importance of it.
Right. And I would say this too, like my parents are part of what they call the lost generation. So this is just on the cusp of baby boomers.
Right.
My parents are 80, right? Older baby boomers are in their late 70s now.
Right.
It's time for us Generation Xers we're the next ones.
Well, I think our camera just went out, Matt.
I know.
All right.
But they can
Sorry,
hear
folks,
us.
we're still here. You just can't see our beautiful faces. Yeah. Well, you know what we don't have here in Pottstown is attrition in Generation X, because we have people our age that are happening. Like, look at the Rotary Club. They've got a whole influx of members in their 30s and 40s and 50s. So it's,
30s. People in their 30s are millennials.
Right.
I'm putting a call out to Generation Xers to step up to the plate to help out Mike Murphy. So these are the guys.
Generation Xers. Now your kids are all off and out of the house. Now you got some time.
You got some time, and you're still young enough to actually go out and do some stuff. Swing a hammer. Shovel some dirt. Yeah. So Generation
X doesn't hurt that much. It does. But not that much. Yeah.
Generation X veterans would be guys who served in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Afghanistan, Iraq. Come on, guys.
Step up
to the plate.
All right, a couple of fun things coming up. Candlelight Ghost Tour at Brinton Lodge. Thought that sounded fun. That is Saturday, March 11th at Brinton Lodge. I just drove past that the other day and I was wondering if there was anything going on there. Well, they've got a ghost tour. Sounds fun. Tim Meadows is going to be at Sunnybrook tomorrow night. That's a pretty big headliner.
Yeah, he was on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. So he is at Sunnybrook tomorrow night. Get your tickets, because I'm sure that one is going to sell out. Let's see. Anne Francis Outreach Foundation. Matt, you sent me this. Walkathon for affordable housing. Help raise money for affordable housing. This is Saturday, April 22nd. That's Earth Day at Riverfront Park. And this, I don't know anything about Anne Francis Outreach Foundation.
That's our friends Kelly and Angela Horvat, who often turn into the show.
Great, yeah. I think I saw her on the feed earlier. Yeah.
They have decided to join the trash team and resource team at the Pottstown Cluster Religious Communities.
Great.
But the Anne Francis Foundation is the 501c3 that they operate that provides services to the working poor and homeless people.
Excellent. Very nice.
So we're collaborating.
Yeah.
See, we're pulling. We're
nice. Combining resources instead of everyone being in their own silo. Very nice.
Big shout out to the Horvats.
Well, that sounds like a very nice event. So that's April 22nd. We'll talk more about that. It's still a couple of months away. And then my friend Amy at the community college shared that they are looking for a manager of their wellness center at Pottstown. So this person needs to be pretty well versed. So there's a long list of requirements, but I got to tell you, everybody I know that works at Montgomery County Community College is exceptional. They are really hire some exceptional people. So if you or somebody with a master's degree in social work, counseling, or psychology and is licensed in PA, then you might want to send them over to the college to become the wellness center manager. I had the opportunity to tour the wellness center there at the Pottstown campus. It is beautiful. It is really a really, really nice resource for the community college students. Okay, and this is all the stuff you shared with me from the Pottstown Community Action, I think. Community connections, conversations on well-being. This is, let's see. I don't know anything about this other than conversations on well-being. It's on Sundays from 3:30 to 4:30. I'm going to assume this is via Zoom.
It's being
virtual
sponsored.
Teams.
Yeah, it's
sponsored by Creative Health, Pottstown Hospital, and the Pottstown Ministerium.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's the topics: child and family well-being, teen well-being, adult well-being, suicide prevention, and self-care.
If you give me that, I'll put a link up. I've been so busy with the work that I have, like the actual paying work, and then doing
a chance to share that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah.
Let me put something up in the link, but this is a series of conversations to aid the community. It's being sponsored by Pottstown Hospital, Creative Health, and Pottstown Ministerium.
Yeah. So remember when lying on the couch all day was just called being a couch potato? Yeah. Now it's called self-care. That's what I did last Sunday. I did self-care all day. Played on the couch, read my book, and watched TV. I did grocery shopping too. Diabetes Education Series. This is a free monthly educational support group for people living with diabetes. Also sponsored by Pottstown Hospital, Tower Health. And this is the third Wednesday of each month from 4 to 5. Goes March through August. There's informational. What exactly is diabetes? Meal planning and holiday eating, community resources and risk reduction, medication and insulin management, continuous glucose monitoring, physical activity and stress management. There's a lot of people out there with diabetes, T1 and T2. So this is a great resource. And this is through Pottstown Tower Health. So if you Google Pottstown Tower Health Diabetes Education Series, I'm sure you can find it. Hurricane Ida survivors. Ida was last year. Yeah. I don't remember.
They all run together. I mean, that was one of the things that they talked about with this climate change. You know what I mean? That we were going to have more severe storms more frequently.
Right. And we've had a couple of humdingers.
So many
right?
that they're all starting to run together.
Right? Which is a horrible way to think about it. But so this is, if you are still recovering from damage suffered by Hurricane Ida, and they are going to have disaster case managers on site. This is the Montgomery County OIC. I don't know what that is, Matt. OIC.
Office of Information. I don't know.
So I don't know. Yeah. So this is, you can still submit FEMA applications up until March 10th. So this is a disaster case manager. So yeah, I know that there were some people, maybe not directly in Pottstown, but in the surrounding area that suffered some pretty severe damage. Reading Hospital has a mobile mammography truck. And this is going to be at the Pottstown Cluster of Religious Communities at 57 North Franklin on Monday, March 20th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You need to make an appointment. But mobile mammography, fantastic. This is really great. So there you go.
I'm having a hard time finding a really good source of information about these community connections. And I think one of the things that some of these nonprofit organizations struggle with is messaging.
Do you get TCN's weekly newsletter?
No.
Okay. So TCN's weekly newsletter, it comes out, I think, every Friday, and it has like all of this stuff is in it. It is super duper long. And, TCN fed us a lot of information during the pandemic.
Yes.
That's where we got a lot of our information. So they've got really, really great stuff in their newsletter. So if you email Holly, she'll put you on the list.
Yeah. So here's the other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to put up a link for TCN so that people that want to do their own research, because that's a phrase now in our lexicon. Do your own research.
Do your own research. None of this. I heard.
Do your own research.
Yeah, I heard you're going to be kicking some homeless people out, Matt.
Nope.
So what is this? Where to get care? This is just a little.
The other thing I do want to say on that matter is I have no authority, and the trash team has no authority.
Of course not.
And the Pottstown Cluster of Religious Communities has no authority
or desire.
So by that same token, as much as I'm not kicking anybody out, or we're not kicking anybody out, we also can't stop somebody from legally being kicked off of some property.
That's not what you're there to do.
No,
it's not what you're there to do.
I have all the empathy in the world for these folks, but I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Nope. That's not what you're there to do.
I can help you clean up.
Yep.
I can help you clean up. I can tell you about some resources that are available to you. Gladly do that.
I'm gonna make myself a note that I got to go to Homie D and get you trash bags to donate for the
just
cleanup.
To answer some questions on air. If you want to participate with the trash team's cleanup of abandoned homeless encampments this weekend on Saturday, you want to park at 79 College Drive and then walk down the trail about 150 yards, and you will find our cleanup of abandoned encampments.
Yep.
You want to meet with us at around 8:00. If you come early, that would be better.
Yep.
There's going to be a safety briefing to start the event at 8 a.m. I have some gloves. I have plenty of tools and plenty of help. You should be prepared for the weather.
Yep.
With sturdy shoes or work
proper
boots.
footwear.
Don't come down there in your Birkenstocks, Bill Brogley.
Don't come down in no flip-flops.
You want boots or sturdy shoes.
Yeah.
And you probably want to bring some sunglasses or safety glasses with you, because I don't have enough for everybody.
Right. Yep. All right.
8 a.m.
Take some
Saturday
before and
morning.
afters.
Oh, yeah. I have some marching orders from Amanda Hoffman, who is the public relations person at Pottstown Community Pottstown Cluster. She's like, I need pictures of this, and this.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, you know what? You should assign that task to somebody else, because you're going to get there and you're going to be all sorts of distracted and organizing people. You should assign somebody to take the photos.
Yeah. No, there's enough people, and there's some folks that have volunteered to help at the communications desk because they, for one reason or another, can't do manual labor.
Sure. Well, so, all sorts of help is needed.
Yeah. So I'll get them to take some pictures, and then there's enough folks down there that we'll be able to get some decent pictures, and we've already taken some pictures and stuff.
I know that you have.
So it's going to be good. And remember, this is the start of something. This isn't a one-time thing. We already have a date selected for helping the Little League in March, and we're working on a date in April. And today I had a meeting with some staff members from the cluster in order to establish a schedule for helping the churches on a reoccurring basis.
Right. Great. Matt, thank you for this. Is really a big undertaking.
It has to happen.
It has to happen.
We have to develop some standards as a community. And this is the first step in this process. It looks like all we're doing is just cleaning up.
What do you mean just cleaning up? I mean, that's a huge deal.
But some people want more.
Well, then they can do it. They can organize their own. I mean, you undertook this, and this is, people, trash is a really, really big issue right now in Pottstown, and this is a whole group of people that are doing something about it. It's not just picking up trash, like just quote unquote picking up trash.
No,
it is a very important job. It's very visible. You talk about the optics. It's really important, and I say kudos to you and to everybody that's going out to help.
Thanks.
Yep.
And remember, folks, that we are, and this is what I'm saying too, it's more than just a couple of trash pickups, and the fact that we are having some conversations about solutions and things that we can do as a community to set some standards and then enforce or live by those standards that will contribute to solving some of these problems or trying to solve some of these problems. In that regard, if you have questions, comments, critique, if you want to send me what your solutions are to some of these problems, please hit us up at pottstownreports@gmail.com. That is the experiment, the effort that we've put together with the folks from Eye on Pottstown. If you want us to talk about a hot topic in the community, if you want to ask us something about we've talked about on Porchcast, if you want to critique the things that we're doing on Porchcast Pottstown, please hit us up at pottstownreports@gmail.com. It's where we get ideas for the show. It's where we get ideas for things to talk about. And we are collecting reasonable solutions for the problems that we've been discussing. And we're going to collate that information together. And at some point in time in the near future, we're going to be presenting those solutions to the borough of Pottstown so that we can say to them, here's our ideas. How are you going to help us?
Yes. Yep. Don't be stirring the pot unless you're licking the spoon.
I'm going to be licking this spoon for quite a while.
Stirring and licking.
All right, let's break it down.
All righty.
My name is Matt Green. I am your local real estate expert. If you are interested in buying or selling residential or commercial real estate in Pottstown and the surrounding areas, please give me a call. I am also available to help you develop your business plans related to real estate and real estate investing. Do you have a business plan that you'd like to develop? Do you want to become a real estate investor? Call me. If you're willing to put the work in, my consultation with you is free. Amy Wolf is the office manager at Wolf Baldwin and Associates, bringing you fine legal service in the borough of Pottstown since 1973.
50 years.
50 years.
Yeah.
Hey, hey. Levi Wolf is your workman's compensation specialist. He's certified by the courts of Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
If you're having a problem related to workman's compensation, call Levi for your free consultation. He might be able to get you more money.
My man is the best. He is. He's the best.
One of the best.
Yep.
And the courts of Pennsylvania have
said so. Yes, they even said so. It's harder to take, harder than passing the bar, he said. Yeah.
We are Porchcast. Let's talk soon.
Have a great weekend.